Hi everybody. If you're new tuning in, welcome to Bakes by Vasco. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. I'm Michelle with 1L. Today is a very special bake because it is dedicated to my big sister Suzie, who we lost in late April of this year. She was not my biological sister, but she was one of my best friends. I met her in the early 90s when I worked at Camelot Music at the mall, and she was a DJ, and we became fast friends, best friends. My whole family loved her, and she was family and my big sister, and there's not an important moment in my life that she wasn't part of. So today this is dedicated to her because she taught me how to make banana bread. That was one of the things that we did together a lot for my niece and nephew, Kinsey and Tony. Hi, I love you both. But I'm going to make it with a twist today. Her favorite thing was strawberries. So I'm going to take my big sis Susie's banana bread and make strawberry banana bread, and you guys are going to join me. Now what you're going to need for today's strawberry banana bread is 1.5 cups of very ripe bananas mashed. That's about 2 medium-sized ones. A 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, which will melt and cool slightly. 2 large eggs, lightly beaten. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 1 3/4 cups all-purpose flour. 1 teaspoon baking soda. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 3/4 cups granulated sugar. And 1 cup chopped fresh strawberries. You will preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to be using my mini loaf pan because that was Susie's favorite, and I've already pre-lined them with my mini loaf pan liners. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is take your 1 3/4 cups all-purpose flour, your teaspoon of baking soda, and your 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and whisk them together in a bowl, and then just set them aside. Next thing you're going to want to do is take your bananas. You'll notice now there are 3 in the bowl because 2 just weren't enough. 3 ripe bananas, and you're going to mash them. If you've had a bad day, this is a great way to take out some aggression. I'm using my potato masher because it works. They could call it because they don't make a banana masher. Maybe I should invent one. I'm all about the gadgets and the things and the stuff. Okay, one thing I should explain is when the recipe says ripe, I know what that means. It means really brown bananas. So if you're following along, you need to make sure that your bananas are really brown so they're really soft and mushy. If you don't have any of those lying around and you still want to make banana bread and you have yellow bananas, put them in a 225 degree oven on a parchment lined baking sheet for 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll have soft bananas. Just make sure they cool before you use them. Now that our bananas are mushy with all that information, we are going to add our beaten eggs, which is 2 of them. Start whisking those in. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then your 1/2 cup of butter that's melted and cooled. Make sure that you do not put hot butter into raw eggs, because guess what happens? Scrambled. So there's that. You just whisk it. Now it's time for your set aside dry ingredients. And all you do is add them and whisk them in. And this is the case of can you rub your tummy and pat your head at the same time, because it's hard to not want to smash it. Now you just whisk all this together. Whisk it. Whisk it good. Have I told you before that I'm a previous musician? So last night my husband was making a playlist, and he likes to play Stump the Chump being me. But after 5 years at a music store, numerous years in music promotion and managing bands, along with singing myself for 25 plus years. I know a lot of songs. So if you ever want to play, drop me a comment. All right, this is super thick and ready to go. If you have some flour in it now is fine, because you don't want to overmix it. Shake it out of the whisk, because then you're going to gently fold in your sugar. Always have a rubber spatula handle handy so you can get out of sticky situations like this. And all that. Alright, I don't think that one little bit is going to make a difference. So, now we want to take the 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, toss it on there, and just give it a fold. Incorporate it in there. Like I said, if you have a few streaks of your flour at this point is fine, because you don't want it to be overmixed, because then it will bruise. Now the last but not least thing is 1 cup of chopped fresh strawberries. Like I said, this is my sister's banana bread recipe, and she, along with my grandma, adored strawberries and anything strawberry flavored. So for them, that's how we make banana bread from now on. The secret is give them a little bit of a coating of flour, maybe a tablespoon. I'd sprinkle it with your hands, because this will keep them from floating to the bottom. Just shake them up, shake them all over the counter. And then add them in. And just gently fold them into your batter. Like I said, if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back and see me. If you've been around a while, I really appreciate it. All right, now that your strawberries are nice and incorporated, everything is ready for your loaf pan. All right, my mini loaf pan is lined with liners. If you're using a mini loaf pan without liners, make sure you put some kind of baking spray in it, or just some plain non-stick cooking spray so your stuff doesn't stick. That's a problem, and you don't want to have that. So make sure you've got that. If you're using a full-size loaf pan, same thing applies. Baking spray or some kind of non-stick cooking spray. Now let's get these in the pan so we can get them in the oven. I'm going to use my cookie scoop to make it a little bit easier since they're so little, and I'm just going to do what you do. Take up a little batch and let it go. And that's my cat Daisy in the background. She wants to be a star, but she's shy. You want these about 2/3 of the way full. I know strawberry shortcake is a super popular summertime dessert, so maybe you'll give this a try and as a substitute. I'm going to take my cookie back of my scoop here, and push this down a little bit, make sure the corners are filled in. And there we have it. 8 mini strawberry banana loaves ready to go in. Now our strawberry banana mini loaves are ready to go in the oven as is, but I wanted to show you a little extra that I learned when I worked for the bakery at Bellatini's. You take just a little bit of granulated sugar and sprinkle it over the top, and that'll give it just a little bit of an extra crunch. I said you don't have to do this, but it's a neat touch. You can even use colored sanding sugar if you're feeling festive. Maybe if you're doing a 4th of July picnic using this recipe, you could use red, white, and blue colored sugar. All right. Now, these are totally ready for the oven. (350 degrees) on the center rack. And you'll want to bake those starting at 25 minutes. Tiki timer set. Okay. All right, everybody. The timer went off at 25 minutes, but they were still gooey. So we went ahead and let them cook the full 35. And they look to be nice and golden brown. Stick a toothpick in them just to be sure. Center test clean. We're going to let these sit in the pan for a few minutes before we transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. And a couple are being stubborn, but that's okay. We'll get these turned over. And then just give it a hard. One comes. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see what the problem is. Some batter got on the outside. Give me a knife. Hand me a knife, sweetheart. My husband Eric behind the camera as always. Appreciate him doing this with me, for me. Man, this one's stubborn. And there you go. 8 perfectly golden brown. Look how pretty those are. So nice and golden. That banana and that sugar, and they smell so good. And I can't wait to eat one, but they're a little hot. So, all right, everybody, we've come to the end of our strawberry banana bread bake. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Again, this is dedicated to my big sister who I recently lost. Hug the people that you care about. Make sure you say I love you. Make memories. Always believe and move forward. I'm Michelle with 1 O, and this is Bakes by Vasco. Again, please subscribe, and if you like this video, hit that little thumbs up. As always, the best part of a bake is the eating. Love you guys. Suzie would approve.